podcast called Jellison Podcast.
He probably doesn't remember this at all.
Yeah, record together. It's easy.
This is kind of real. Like, holy shit.
And so it's really cool to get to be a part of that.
Hey, you know how it is, though. Hey, when
you now tune into the biggest ever.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
I don't remember that. That's crazy.
What's up, everyone? We're back with episode 135 of the Jellison Podcast today for a special guest, Mr. Jordan Delks. Jordan, how are you?
Doing good, Dub. Thanks for having me today, man. Excited to be on.
Yes, sir. It's been a long time coming. I know we've been in contact for quite a while. So I know I had, for people who are listening, I had your wife, Courtney, on a while back. So talk a little bit about what you guys do with Compete Training Academy and what you guys do, where people can find your guys' information and all that stuff.
For sure. So as you mentioned, my wife, Courtney, and I, we own Compete Training Academy. It's a basketball training business in Marion, Indiana. We also do fitness training as well. And my wife, Courtney, played basketball at Purdue. I played basketball at Purdue University North Central. Then was a student manager for Coach Painter for a year as I finished up my degree. And then I got into college basketball coaching for 4 years, won a national championship at Indiana Wesleyan University. And my wife was in college basketball coaching, spent a season as a volunteer coach for Steph White at the Indiana Fever. Before we started our training business, Courtney and I, we both hoopers, really just in love with the player development process. And so it's been our dream to start our own training business. Believe it or not, both of us have been big journalers all our lives, even in junior high. And if you look back in our journals in junior high, we both, not knowing each other, I'm from Lafayette area, Rossville, Indiana, and she's from Marion area, Sweetser, Indiana. And we have pictures of a barn with a basketball court in it drawn in there. So all that to say, we're doing what we love. We're following our dream. You can find us at www.competetrainingacademy.com and check out our story there.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up right after you said that. That is one of the craziest. I love that story so much. And it's just, I don't know, I guess it's just fate that you guys ended up together and were able to kind of put that all together. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. And I mean, so many times in life, like our life goes where we choose to focus on. So if you want to find positivity, you're going to find it. If you want to chase your dream, you're going to find it. If you keep focusing on it, if you want to find the negative in things, you're going to find it.
100%. And then sometimes, I mean, these opportunities present themselves and you don't even think that they'd be possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine when you were journaling those, that you'd have the barn in Sweetser, Indiana, and be able to, I mean, just create this whole thing and this whole culture and have all these kids come to you and teach the thing that you love?
No. Never would I have dreamed that that would actually happen. Many times along the way, you want to quit. Many times along the way, you don't want to keep going. But when you look back, you see the times that you didn't keep going prepared you to keep going now. And so, if you just keep going, greatness favors the fearless.
Hey, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, did you always know that this was something that you wanted to get into? Like, from what age did you kind of realize, like, hey, I kind of want to dabble in this and maybe make it a career?
For sure. So it's January. Everyone's getting into goal setting. I've always been a big goal setter. And I remember my freshman year of high school, I set the goal to be a head men's basketball coach in the Crossroads League for whatever reason. That's small college basketball here in Indiana, unbelievable league in the NAIA. Always takes 4 teams to the national tournament. that's the level that I played at, and really just fell in love with that level. People don't understand how talented that level really is. And now I'm training guys like Kyle Mangus from Indiana Wesleyan and Travion Cruz from Bethel, who are getting workouts with NBA teams now. And so all that to say, it's a great level, and I just fell in love with that level, and love basketball in the state of Indiana. So set the goal then to be a college basketball coach. And really, as life comes at you, you just you roll with the opportunities that are coming your way. And really, it was a process. I didn't say I wanted to be a trainer. That's training has really blown up. I mean, I didn't have a trainer growing up. I'm 32 years old, did not have a trainer, and that was kind of foreign then. So really falling in love with the player development process, specifically when Courtney and I got married. Your values change when you have a family. College basketball coaching, every March people are getting hired and fired. You got to be willing to travel. Who knows where the next job is? And this has given us some stability.
Yeah. Go back to your point about goals. I don't think enough people sit down and, whether it be January 1st, 2022, write down your goals for the year. I mean, you could do that. You could do weekly goals. I mean, long-term goal. I don't think people do enough of that. And that's something I learned in the last 1-2 years ish. I've tried to constantly create new goals and try to better myself, because I don't think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And each year, this time of year, Courtney and I, we set goals for the year. And we say all the time in our training, show us your habits and we'll show you the trajectory of your life. And so we've gotten in the habit of setting goals, but goals are big, overarching. I've set goals for a long time, something my parents instilled in me. Like I said, journaling in 7th grade, I've been setting goals every year of my life, but have gotten better at setting habits to attain those goals. What are you going to be doing every day to achieve the goals? So I got players that say, hey, yeah, I want to, average 20 points per game this year. That's my goal, whatever. But what are you going to do every day to achieve that? Are you going to get 200 makes a day, 5 days a week to achieve that? So how are you going to get specific about attaining it? So goal's a goal. So I love our process of setting goals, overarching, our life. And then underneath those goals, setting the habits, habit 1, habit 2, habit 3, to attain that goal. So really, last 3 days, we have, Courtney and I, we have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So we've been waking up at 4:30 in the morning and doing our goal setting process till they wake up at 7 a.m. So if you want it, you got to go get it. And then this year I've even, the first goal I set was setting 2-week goals. I'm going to reset goals every 2 weeks, because so many times, I got these goals that I want to achieve this year, but you can get lost in the process and in the length of time over a year. If you break it down to 2 weeks, you can do anything for 2 weeks. So breaking it down is crucial to attaining those goals too, because everyone says, hey, I want to do this. And after week 1 or 2, or some adversity hits, or you fall off the wagon a little bit, you just kind of quit. So reset, having 2-week goals. That's my first goal this year, just to break it down.
Yeah. I never thought of putting the habits underneath the goals. That's I'm going to start doing that, actually. Let's show you an idea there.
Show us your habits and we'll show you the trajectory of your life.
But yeah, like you mentioned, that example of guys that want to average 20 points a game or whatever your goal is. You got to wake up early, get those shots in, get your work in. Those are the habits that you would talk about. That's something I never really considered, but now thinking about it, I do see if you set a lofty goal, or, I mean, it depends on your situation, obviously, but you set a lofty goal, I mean, you can get lost in that process and things aren't going right. You're like, well, I don't even know what I need to do. So like you have those things to fall back on, be like, okay, get up early, go to the gym, do this, do that, whatever the case may be. And it'll help you reach those goals long term.
Absolutely. Got to break it down.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, how has it evolved? Just everything, just CTA. I mean, your basketball life and career, coaching career and training career. How's that evolved since you guys started?
So I started training hoopers in 2010. So this is my 11th year. I was actually in college when I started training, just home for the summer, training local high school guys. And I trained my first pro the next year in 2011. Actually, it was my year at Purdue. His name was Michael Teller. He played at Lipscomb University. Tore his left knee, tore his right knee. I can't remember, probably averaged like 5 or 6 points for career, riddled with injury. And we were both working Matt Painter camp. And we were playing an open gym after camp, and he could still play. And he's like, he knew I was a trainer and a coach and was getting into it. And he's like, man, would you train me every day? And so just for passion and love of the game, woke up, met him at a International Sports Club in West Lafayette at 5 a.m. 5 days a week, where I broke down his process of on the court in the weight room, and we just got after it. So we ended up doing that for a whole year. He ended up signing a contract to play with the team in Mexico overseas, became the league MVP, averaged 24 points a game. And that really, as such a young trainer, caught my fire for the player development process. And so we started training, both Courtney and I, but me specifically, I was training on people's driveways. I was training, I'd pay $5 to get in the YMCA to train people myself, and, breaking into any gym that me and a hooper could get into. And so Courtney and I, when we first got married, we lived in a mobile home park. We were training people out of our mobile home. I mean, just anywhere. And so you just got to embrace humble beginnings. And so that's how we started. And then things really kind of took off when we got the barn. So back in 2017, we purchased a property with a barn on it. And lady at church told me about this property for sale. Courtney and I were really looking to get out in this area, but we had looked at like 20 places and like nothing was working out. So I was like, okay, thanks, whatever. Didn't follow up on it. Luckily, she told my wife went out there, and Courtney went into the barn, and she had a basketball in her Jeep, and she shot up in the air and saw that, it was high enough to shoot in. And so she called me. She's like, Jordan, we gotta look at this place. And so I'm like, yeah, come on, no, we're done. Let's just save our money for next year, whatever. And she's like, no, this is the place. I'm like, you haven't even seen the house. But she saw that she could shoot a ball in a barn. And so I credit her for the foresight there. And we ended up getting the house and put our life savings into putting a court in there, 3 basketball goals, a weight room, not heated or air conditioned. So really blue collar, just, that, that kind of farming attitude of, we always say we're basketball farmers, farmer gets up early, stays up late, working the ground, different things. That's what we do with hoopers. That we kind of took off a little bit, having your own space. And as a trainer, it's all about your spot. I mean, finding a place that you can call home and train people out of that you can use. And so when we then we've always prided ourselves in competing our whole life. And when we were deciding a name, we tossed around our own names to branded our own names, but we kept falling in love with this word compete. And that we really wanted to brand our training in a way that was more of a movement and a lifestyle. And competing in our definition is doing what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard. That's on the court, that's in life, that's so transferable to anything we do. And so because it's bigger than, we wanted this training to be bigger than us or any one person. I mean, this is a lifestyle and a movement. So really took off when we got the barn. And then just this past year, we saved our pennies again, and we just built a brand new pole barn, NBA half court, 4 goals in it, weights in it. And we train pro hoopers out of there, and it's heated. So we spent a lot of years, training people out of we call it the old barn with no heat. And we got the little salamander right behind the shooter, keeping them warm on days like today here in January. and now we got some heat that we operate out of. And so yeah, that's kind of how we've evolved. We've been training professional hoopers really for the last decade, and we're excited to see the trajectory of it this year.
Yeah, man, it's super special. When I first kind of was introduced to you guys, I was like, this is something special. I love this. Especially, I think obviously the appeal for people who might not know you guys is the barn, because I mean, that I've told you and Courtney this, it just embodies basketball in the state of Indiana to a T. It's perfect. I mean, what else would you want? I mean, how special is it to have that place to call home for you, both you guys and your hoopers?
Yeah, it really is. Looks like it's right out of the movie Hoosiers. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's wooden beams. It's a haymow that we have pallets up there for people to go up to the haymow and watch their kid train. We have a weight room in the room that they used to milk cows out of. I mean, it's as Indiana as it gets. And I think just basketball obviously is a way of life here in Indiana. I mean, Friday nights, everybody goes to the local high school game, and so it really personifies really a lot of the values of this state and Indiana basketball. So, I mean, we just built a brand new pole barn, but all of our clients say, no, like it's where it's at the other barn, like just because of like you said, that appeal of, I mean, it's wooden beams and I mean, literal wooden nails to put the beams together. It's pretty cool.
And then, I mean, for you, what is the culture of basketball in Indiana? Obviously, the saying goes, I mean, in 49 other states, it's just basketball, this is Indiana. I mean, what does that culture mean to you?
Well, I don't think our business would work in any other state. I mean, putting a court in a barn with no heat or air conditioning. I mean, but people just love it here in Indiana because of what we value and who we are in Indiana, just that blue collar mentality. And so we got kids coming in before school. I was just telling you before we hopped on the podcast, like we're in the barn at 5:30 in the morning. Kids coming in and training, working on their game before they go to school. We're in there after school, late at night, kids coming in, sometimes after games when a player's had a tough game. Man, can we get in the gym? Can we get in the barn? Yeah, man, let's go. So like it's it's pretty crazy in that respect.
And then something that I don't think people really realize is obviously the Indy area Hoopers. I mean, they're deservedly so. They get all the hub. I mean, guys like Gary Harris, Yogi Ferrell, Jaren Jackson. I mean, you can go up and down the list. But I mean, the kids from areas that maybe don't get the publicity or the national spotlight or what have you. I mean, there's immense talent in Indiana.
Absolutely. There is a ton of hoopers here in Indiana. It's just what you do here in Indiana. I mean, we're cornfields and soybean fields, and when you get bored, you go out and shoot hoops. Everybody's got a hoop. I mean, we love driving around. I mean, you can drive around the state of Indiana and see a hoop in every driveway. I mean, everybody's got one. You can't do that in any other state. So here in rural Indiana, there's a ton of hoopers. And I'm training Lewis Jackson right now, who's the all-time winningest point guard in Purdue history. And we were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about some of the greatest AAU teams of all time. And he played with, Tyler Zeller, Daquan Cook, just an amazing team. And I was telling him about, Greg Oden, Mike Conley and their AAU team. And there was a player named Grayson Flitner on their team that not a lot of people have heard about. He came from a 1A school, Tri-Central High School in Sharpsville, ends up going to Gardner-Webb, and he has the record for most threes in the Dean Dome. He beat Kentucky and scored 22 on national television. Just one of the all-time best shooters, lefty, from rural Indiana. And he played on Greg Oden and Mike Conley's AU team. So just to your point, there's hoopers everywhere. And just because, I mean, it's cool here in Indiana. It's a way of life. And if you got a dream and you chase your dream and you don't let the opinions of others bring you down, man, the sky's the limit for anybody.
Mm-hmm. And I was going through the old 247 recruiting rankings last night, and I found a bunch of names. I mean, we could sit here all day and name them, but I mean, a few of the ones that popped up to me, obviously Kyle Mangus, you can't leave him off. Had him on the podcast. I know you guys are very tight. Desmond Bain, I don't think oh my goodness, he's going to get paid in the league. He's going to be there for 10, 12 years. He's a killer. And he had 2 offers coming out of high school.
Yes. And I coached for 2 years at Indiana Wesleyan University. And not a lot of people know he was this close to signing with Indiana Wesleyan. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to your point, I mean, he had 2 offers, an NAI program is this close to signing him. And now he's killing it in the league and has made a name for himself in the league, and he's going to get paid.
100%. And then some other guys, Sean McDermott, who's also on the Grizzlies, oddly enough, Cooper Neese, Devin Kennedy, and then Demetrius Jackson. All of them came from kind of smaller schools that didn't get that pub.
Absolutely. And those are my favorite stories, guys that aren't getting a lot of pub, but just have a dream. They have the work ethic to back it up, and they go chase it without letting the opinions of others bring them down. But they have that belief in themselves that really carries them through the hard times when they lose, when they miss shots, when adversity hits and injury hits, and they just keep going. Those are the best stories, those underdog stories.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, to an extent, another underdog, I know you mentioned him just a minute ago, obviously Lou Jack. You guys brought him onto the CTA family. A guy that's near and dear to both of us. One of the best people I've ever met and talked to.
That's facts.
How valuable has he been to not only you guys as a CTA family, but the Hoopers as well?
I cannot put into words how valuable he is to Compete Training Academy. And truly, you put it best, one of the best human beings you'll ever meet. You'll have the best, deepest, real, genuine conversations with him. He has made an enormous impact on the clients that we train. Our clients love. I get texts every single day from parents. Man, Lou Jack, he's the best. My kid. Yesterday, I got a text from a parent saying their kid wanted to have. I just thought that was so cool. You know what I mean? And that's what makes him special. I mean, he's obviously got this knowledge and experience, led the NBA G League in assists. He's been in Lithuania. He's been overseas. He's guarded Steph Curry. He's, all these amazing stories that he can, use as a platform to train. And he's humble, he's genuine. And he when he opens his mouth to teach, it's like pure gold. Like I just got to have the camera running like the whole time when he's training, because there's just nuggets of like pure gold of training that not only translate on the court, but translate into life. And that's what makes him special. He's a grinder. He's been through adversity, which has made him real and genuine and empathetic. And that's what it's all about.
100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. And when I had him on the podcast.
Yeah. Great podcast. Super
while back. And then Rayfel asked me to go to one of his camps in Lafayette and just help out or whatever. So I went there. It was like him and Lou and Penny and AJ Hammonds.
Yep.
So I was sitting there with 4 dudes that I like grew up watching. I'm sitting there talking to Lou Jack, and I was like, this is the coolest dude I've ever met in my entire life. Like, I annoyed my friends and family so much after that. I was like, yo, these dudes are so awesome. I can't say enough good things about Lewis Jackson. It's just
you're right. He's the coolest dude. That's for sure.
And then also I saw that you guys were doing some work with another guy I had on the show, Derek Grant. How'd that come together, and what are your guys' plans for that?
Yeah, so every single year we get asked to do an AAU program, and we're trainers. Mm-hmm. We have a love-hate relationship with AAU, because AAU is so needed to go play the best, to be exposed to college coaches. However, AAU at times can just be rolling the ball out, and you lose track and sight of the fundamentals of basketball. And so this was the year we were kind of like, you know what? And just the way I'm wired, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it excellently. And with everything I got, I want it to be the very best. And so Derek Grant, shout out to him. He's my life coach. I'm actually meeting with him right after this podcast. And he's made a tremendous impact on my life. I truly believe everybody should have a coach. I'm a coach, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't have a coach in your life, you need to find one, because Derek has helped me take leaps and bounds in ways that I would never do and could do on my own. And so what Courtney and I have seen in Hoopers' lives, like what truly takes them to the next level. So like we've been talking about in Indiana, everybody's a hooper, everybody shoots. That's what we do here in Indiana, is we hoop. So what we've seen, the players that keep going are the ones that are elite. The difference in being average and elite is their mindset. Truly, we say it all the time in Compete Training Academy that your mind is your most powerful weapon. And we believe that's true in life too. So we have married our AU program with Derek Grant's mindset coaching. And he's going to come into our practices in the first 20 minutes. He's going to do mindset coaching with our players. And so we think that's invaluable for our players to receive right at the beginning. And then our whole program is centered around skill development. And Lou Jack and I were running it together, and we're Purdue guys, obviously. So we're running Purdue's motion offense, and, their sets and everything. We're a little biased in regards to the X's and O's of Purdue basketball, but so that's how we're forming it, and how that kind of came about.
Well, first of all, I can't let this go by. I need a video of Lou Jack screaming "move" like Painter.
Yes.
Coaching you both, honestly, but the thing you talked about with the whole mentality in your mind, when I had him on the show, it changed my mentality. It's something just flipped. Talking to him made me want to run through a damn brick wall. I mean, the way that he can like captivate people when you're talking, even over a Zoom meeting. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like when you're getting ready to train and compete and get better. Like that would just amp you up. And then, I mean, like you said, you can just transfer that to anything you do in life. Anything you do in life.
Absolutely. like I said, I got a meeting with him right after this, and I keep a journal every time we meet. And man, I got 3 pages every time I'm done meeting.
I need to start doing that. When I, especially trainer, I've had a bunch of trainers on. When I have you guys on, I take so much away from those, more than like I had Antoine Bethea on the other day, which is, awesome.
Oh, great.
I'm not as a Colts fan, but like these type of podcasts are like my favorite, just because I can take things away from them, and I can use it in whatever. Like doing a dinky show, I can use that, and then you guys are training pros, and it's crazy. I can't put it into words, honestly.
Yeah, well, I think in any type of leadership, and Lou Jack, Courtney, and I, we take it very seriously. People pay us to coach them and pour into their lives, and we take that very seriously. That's an honor. And if you are in any type of leadership position and leading people, it's all transferable, whether it's coaching basketball, coaching baseball, a CEO leading a company. All the values and concepts are all transferable. So that's probably why, when you have a coach and trainer on, we're just practical and kind of get after it.
Yeah, you guys are the best. I want to talk a little bit about kind of your coaching career before we hopped on here. I know we're getting close on time. At what point did you know, like, you wanted to be an actual coach?
Yeah, kind of like I said, and it goes back to goal setting, kind of what we've been talking about this whole time. I remember setting the goal as a freshman in high school. For whatever reason, I wanted to be a head coach of a team in the Crossroads League. And just being a small town kid from Rossville, Indiana, small college hoops, I've always been a fan of. And I truly believe it's some of the best basketball in the country. If you haven't been to a Crossroads League game, Indiana Wesleyan, Bethel, Huntington, Taylor, it's some of the best basketball fundamentally there is in the country. And so then really I knew I wanted to be a coach. I loved playing the game. It took me far. Had a good career in college, was all conference in the Chicagoland Conference, the CCAC, was top 5 in 3-point field goals and 3-point field goal percentage in the NAIA in a season. But really, I knew I loved coaching. I love people. And I think that's what really, like, if you want to coach, you got to really love people. You got to be in it for the right reasons. And so I really knew as a freshman in high school that I wanted to get into coaching. And I'm still a coach today. Now I'm training, I'm training players as a coach, but I also have a life coaching business and a trainers program that we call Dream Season, where I'm training, aspiring trainers, giving them our business model, helping them start their business. So being a coach has really always been in me.
And that's something I wanted to bring up. I forgot about. I absolutely love that you're working with other trainers, because I don't know if this is true. I'm not going to say that people are like this, but you can see where some trainers would kind of butt heads, especially, there's so many now, especially in Indiana, there's so many amazing ones. All the people I've had, like Joey Burton, obviously DG, you guys, Taylor Ware up in, I think he's in Carmel. There's just a ton of great people. I could see how people could kind of butt heads over like who's getting who and all that stuff. But it feels like in Indiana, especially with you guys, that you guys kind of, you would welcome working together.
Absolutely. And you mentioned some great trainers there. Derek Grant and Joey Burton have had a huge impact on my life. I go down and meet with Joey, every once in a while, and we just chop it up for an afternoon, bouncing ideas off each other. And he's poured into me that way. Derek Grant, I meet with every single week. A great person. Basketball is basketball. There's no secrets in basketball. You can YouTube anything. It's all out there for a coach to get. So I think, for someone to train with you, they come to train with you because of you. not because, I got some magic trick that's going to make you make every shot. So I think that's just if someone's just wants to be, keep their cards close to their chest, that's just an insecurity on their end, where people who have hearts like Derek Grant and Joey Burton, who are willing to help others around them, that's when you start blessing others. And that's when, you really show the impact you can have on people around you. And so that's why we started our train trainers program. We have no secrets. There are no secrets in basketball. We just love helping people. And so we're an open book. We have no problem giving we failed so many times. And so like for us to be able to share with trainers, here's what's good for us. Here's what's hasn't gone well with us. Here's our business model. We have no secrets. We don't keep our cards close to our chest. We just want to help people.
Yeah. And I feel like you guys especially have that kind of family feel. It feels like, everyone that goes there is just a part of something bigger than themselves. They're a part of CTA. Do you feel that type of way, that just everyone's kind of coming together when they're at the barn or training or doing things like that?
Absolutely. And that's just a testament to those who we have, not just me, Courtney, and Lou Jack as leaders of CTA, but just the players there too. And we take pride in it that, we talk about our retention rate all the time with me, Courtney, and Lou Jack, that, a player comes train with us, like they don't leave because they feel that family atmosphere. And really, we learned that at Purdue. It's truly, it's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood for Courtney. You can pick up the phone and call any Purdue alum. We have a network at Purdue that literally would do anything for us. We do anything for them. Same with you. As soon as you hit me up to be on this podcast, I'm like, absolutely, because we're Boilermakers. And I think that's just how we were raised, so to speak, the Purdue way of helping each other out. And we've seen it so many times in our professional careers, Courtney and I, where we've needed help and a reference from, a Purdue person, and they, without hesitation, have helped us in whatever we needed. And so I think it's because of the way we were raised, the Boilermaker way.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, compared to IU, I don't want to turn this into a I Hate IU podcast, but compared to IU has kind of the the national feel of like, oh, I didn't necessarily go there, but I'm an IU fan. Most of the people that are Purdue fans went to Purdue, and I feel like, like you said, I've reached out to people that have been through Purdue, basketball, football, whatever, and they've always loved to come on just because we have that connection. Some of the people I have on were so different, vastly different, come from different walks of life, but we share being Boilermakers, and it's something that you can't really explain. It's just there, and that connection's not going away.
You're right. And it's something you truly have to experience at Purdue. And my dad has worked in the animal science department at Purdue over 20 years. Mm-hmm. I'm a third generation Boilermaker, and truly, whether it's in the animal science department, the athletic department, wherever at Purdue, it's just one big network and one big family that is truly undescribable. And that's what makes Purdue so special, in my opinion.
100%. And the last thing, I know we went over a little bit, so I apologize for that, but working that time as a student manager with Coach Paint, how much were you able to take away from that experience? Because I could only imagine that'd be awesome.
Man, that truly set the foundation for me as a coach. Every single day, I use a phrase, a concept, something that I learned from Coach Painter and that staff. So that staff at the time I was there in 2012. So that's Robbie Hummel, Lewis Jackson, Ryan Smith are the seniors. The coaching staff is Matt Painter, Jack Owens, who's the head coach at Miami, Greg Gary, who's the head coach at Mercer, Micah Shrewsbury, who's been at the Boston Celtics and now at Penn State, that I got to glean every single day. And my encouragement to you guys, I knew I was going to be there a year, and I knew I wanted to get into coaching. And so I made every opportunity count. I was so thankful, Coach, for that opportunity Coach Painter gave me. I mean, I was just a fly on the wall in all the coaches' meetings, and it truly set the foundation for the coach that I am today, and focus and just the Boilermaker way of being blue collar, focusing on things you can control, that are values that have made me who I am today. So I truly invaluable the experience I had for a season under Coach Painter and that staff, and being a manager was unbelievable.
Yeah, man, I can only imagine what that year was like. And I feel like that year's pretty valuable just in terms of like the ups and downs that the team went through to an extent, and all the success they had, obviously. And then that coaching staff was something that, I mean, and then all three of those guys you mentioned, Shrews has won back to beat IU and then beat Northwestern last night, I believe.
Yeah, they're on fire.
Greg Gary, he's killing it at Mercer. He's down there with DJ Bird and Ryan Smith. And then I haven't checked in on Miami, but I did talk to Coach Owens a few weeks ago. So
absolutely. Yeah. All of those guys I stay in touch with. And I think, like I said, that's just what makes the Boilermaker family so special is, if I call them or text them, they're going to pick up and respond and give me advice and wisdom. And that's what it was, truly an unbelievable experience for me. So that's kind of my encouragement to those of you listening is, take advantage of the opportunities you had. I remember going back to my apartment after practice and just literally writing down everything I learned. I still got those journals. I got like 12 binders full from my coaching and playing experience, from notes and plays and, just where you're at. So wherever you're at, like whatever your beginning is, I was, I was filling up Lou Jack's Gatorade cup, right? And, I just take advantage of the opportunity that you have and embrace those humble beginnings.
yes, sir. Couldn't have said it better myself. Before we hop off here, tell everyone where they can find all your guys' stuff once again.
Yeah, so go to our website, check out our story, www.competetrainingacademy.com, Instagram @Compete Training Academy, same with Facebook, Compete Training Academy. Go to Twitter @Compete Training. Give us a follow. We stay pretty active on there, and kind of like Dub and I said, we have no secrets. We put all our stuff out there. So hopefully it's a blessing to you.
Yes, sir. Hey, I really appreciate you coming on. All the best to you and Courtney and the CTA family. I really appreciate you guys being so kind to me. You guys didn't have to do that, but nothing but the best.
And all you DJP followers, man, Courtney and I listen to this podcast all the time. We get inspiration from it. So continue to listen to it. And Dub, you keep going too, man. We're inspired at your age. Just the drive that you have to do something great. And so I can't wait to see how your platform grows as well. So you keep going there, and great things ahead for you, brother.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right. Have a good one.
Take care, man.